Thanks, Katie. Great introduction. Excited to be here with you, Laird. Just before we dive into the questions, your new role as CEO of Insurance Technologies. First off, hold on. Insurance Technologies is a big supporter of independent distribution. It's a big supporter of NAILBA. We love working with you guys. You work with a ton of broker general agencies. You really support the industry. But all that aside, all that good stuff aside, how has your life changed since taking over the CEO role of Insurance Technologies?
It's a lot more fun than my previous life was, because my previous life was a little bit in the P&C industry, and on that side of the business, it's significantly different than the life and annuity side. However, it's all kind of the same ball of wax, but it's the same. It has the same struggles, the same challenges, but also the same excitement of what we're doing.
Well, what interested you in the move from the P&C side to the life and annuity side? What drew you to Insurance Technologies?
Throughout my career, I've really enjoyed finding markets that innovation will help transform. And the P&C industry was very much that for the past 20 years. Yeah. If you think back to the late 90s, the first insurance policy was sold online in the late 90s, a long time ago. And then you have all these revolutions. I also worked in the banking industry with a fintech. And that was where you take a picture of your check and with your phone and it transacts it. These are all things these were industries that really could use transformation. In the late 2010s, you actually had it switch from the fintech being the big thing to insurtech. And insurtech, everybody knows insurtech took the P&C world by storm. There was lots of people out there trying to make their waves, trying to disrupt the industry. By the way, I'm not a big fan of disruption because it indicates that there was something wrong with the previous model, that you have to change it. And so as it started to mature, really the next logical step was in the wealth tech market, something that helps life, annuities, and other wealth preservation offerings. And so it's just that natural progression that really drew me in to the life and annuity side of the business and the wealth preservation side of the business because of the opportunities to innovate.
Well, first, the 1990s aren't that old, just so we're clear, right?
I was there too. So.
I think I'm still looking for hair metal band concerts. But what parallels are you seeing really between the life and annuity side and the P&C side? Because, I think it's fair to point out that the P&C side was ahead of the curve, where the life and annuity side is still catching up. And candidly, that's not a bad place to be sometimes.
Yes. And one of the struggles that's going to happen, in my opinion, here is the P&C industry was more of an evolution. It grew over time. You went from having online to having direct channel. You had all these things that were happening throughout time. And there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of concerns that direct carriers were going to, disintermediate the agents. Never happened. What it was really happening is that this slow evolution was allowing agents and brokers to do better, to do their jobs better, to enable their consumers more. This industry is going to be a little bit more of a revolution. It's not going to be the next 10, 15 years that you see this slow transformation. You're going to see revolutionary jumps in the technology and the usage of this industry. So what is the real true parallel to your question is it's a legacy industry that is ready to expand with technology, ready to expand with innovation.
Well, better a revolution than a reckoning, right? Because that has come full circle for some companies who candidly weren't prepared for what we've been going through the past 3 years. So let me press you a little bit. Revolution, right? Mm-hmm. Fun word, trending word, but revolution is usually because of opportunity. There's a revolution because of certain opportunities that exist between the markets. But what are the opportunities in the life insurance market? Blending in technology, right? We want to avoid all those funky buzzwords, but there has to be specific opportunities that all of distribution could look at and say, I'm ready for.
Consumers. Interacting directly with consumers.
Yeah.
While agents and brokers are the lifeblood of the industry, consumers are the driving force. Without a consumer walking in, calling, transacting online, saying, hey, I need to have a life insurance policy or I need to have some kind of wealth preservation because of a life event. They're the ones that are driving this industry. And so the distributors, the brokers, the agents, the carriers, we're all along for the ride. And I always talk about a four-legged stool. You have carriers, agents and brokers, technology vendors like insurance technologies, but if you only had a three-legged stool, it wouldn't be very strong. But that fourth leg, the consumer needs to be a part of the conversation at all times. And consumers have demanded innovation. You get that demand every single day in every single one of our agencies. And when we're out there, they're like, can I do this online? Can I have e-signature? Can I go to your website and get a quote, or can I understand it? There's so many opportunities in here to innovate, such as life signals. When did I get a life insurance policy? When did you get a life insurance policy? A lot of people will say, when I had my first kid, right? And so these life events become signals, but the consumers are the ones that are driving the buying decisions behind it. And insurance is an interesting industry. And this is something that is far different from P&C. P&C, you almost have to buy. You want to make sure your car is covered, your house is covered, all of that. It's almost regulatory that you have to buy.
Sure. Yep.
However, life insurance and annuities and all of the wealth preservation is a choice. And so a lot of times they don't just buy insurance. They just don't buy it. What they do is they need to be sold it. And just having someone sit down and say, here's the value, here's the illustration, there you go, you should buy this. Instead of more having a conversation. And that's where technology can really help. It's not just making it enabled that it works on your phone or you can buy a policy without ever talking to a human. It's more about perpetuating a conversation using technology. And that's where the real opportunity lies in this industry, is a lot of times we are talking to our customers and not really talking with our customers.
Laird, I love that, because it goes to my motto around, even in the association world, right? It cannot just be a transaction. If it's just a transaction, you lose them. If it's an experience, and whatever that experience may be, whether it's an emotional attachment, a two-way conversation, it helps create the experience. Now, I think that tees us up well for your new role as CEO of Insurance Technologies. What is your vision for the future of insurance technologies?
Really, it's to provide automation solutions to really the insurance and financial service industry partners that we have, while actually empowering their success. Kind of sounds like a mission statement or something. I should probably write this down.
Mission, vision, values, right?
Ultimately, it's providing service with product. And going back to what you just said, is I talk about this all the time with our customers, with our internal associates, but you need to look at everybody as a client. A customer is you go in and you buy a hamburger. That's a customer relationship. A client, building a relationship through the offering of value products, value solutions, service, and support. That's the same mission that I would have, as you would have, as any of our carriers, agents, or brokers or distributors that we work with have. And so really, it's just bringing those ideals full circle, that it approaches everybody of that four-legged stool.
Well, this last question is near and dear to our heart, especially with all the M&A taking place in the space and partnerships being formed to grow scale and to have a bigger impact. Obviously, I'm referring to NAILBA's announcement earlier this year with our intent to merge with Fonseca. Mm-hmm. But last year, right, big and not too long ago, just last year calendar-wise, big announcement with Insurance Technologies and IXN coming together, two longtime partners in the brokerage community. Many BGAs have different individual relationships, and of course, you guys have a first-class team. We got to know you guys really well. So, what does that merger, what does that coming together actually mean to the NAILBA community and the overall industry?
Well, first of all, I did see the interview that you did with Kevin Palmer. He's still here and still bringing the exact ideals that they were bringing to the industry. And I think a lot of what we've talked about today is just a continuation of the mission that IXN had. Is IXN was really bringing tenets of stellar UI, UX design, enablement, connectivity, interoperability, having a connected ecosystem of what life insurance is and how we can create that connected ecosystem. As we've talked about today, that continues. And Kevin and the IXN team continue to drive those ideals and tenets forward. And as we move forward, a lot of what we're doing here at Insurance Technologies is doubling down on the IXN investment, making investments of how life insurance products will transform the world to come, as we've talked about, but ultimately bringing value to our clients, bringing value to our consumers, having an industry that is working together and has that interoperability, connectivity, and really the movement that we saw in the insurtech and the fintech world moving now in what I would coin as wealth tech, is wealth preservation technologies. And that is exactly what we're doing with IXN and Insurance Technologies.
Well, I love it. I think the key phrase there is the right ecosystem. Literally this morning, I received an email about a large distributor still using a manual input process because a legacy system and a new system are not talking to each other. And one thing I learned working with in the legal profession, you put a dollar figure at a time. That hurts a lot when you're doing when you don't have that ecosystem. There's more manual process.
If you still need a fax machine, you're in trouble.
I won't say anything. I actually got rid of the fax number for NAILBA a while ago. Laird, hey, great to connect with you. I'm excited to meet you in person. Like I said, you have a first-class team at Insurance Technologies. You guys are well thought of. Thank you for your continued support of NAILBA, and definitely excited to hear about the innovation that's coming out of Insurance Technology. And of course, I will pin you down as new products are launched to get you back on here to explain them to everybody.
I would appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.